Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is the Cruiser Chris World Network, and today we have the man, the myth, the legend, the person that I wanted to always be my ATP, Tim. I wrote some questions for Tim down ahead of time, and he's going to read them to you and then give answers. Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Tim. I'm from AdaptHealth as an ATP. A quick background that I can give you is I started in the industry. Chris asked me right here, the first question is, how long have I been in the rehab industry? I started the industry in 1994 working from Reliable Medical as a service technician. And my career has moved up from service technician to rehab technician to a manager and now back to an ATP for Adapt. And I'll just go through because Chris has some pretty good questions here, and I just figured, why write them down? He sent them to me, and I'll just read them and I'll answer them to the best I can. He asked the next question: what made you want to be part of the durable medical industry, and when did you get your start? Well, like I said, my start started in 1994. What made me? Just to change something in a career. I mean, I wanted to do something different. I went to college for a computer technician, got a degree in computer technology, and realized after doing that for 6 years that wasn't my calling. So I changed, and some of the questions that I'll answer now that Chris has answered or asked me. So I'll give you a part of that is I then decided I wanted to change a career, and that's when I started and made an application. Reliable Medical had in an ad in a paper saying electronic technician. I applied and they hired me. He says the next question was, how many years were you a wheelchair technician prior to becoming an assistant and an ATP? I worked for Reliable in 1994 and I was a service technician for approximately about 10 years. Between 8 and 10 years. Reliable does it different. They make you a service technician, then they make you a rehab technician. You don't do when you're a service technician, you go out and do batteries, tires, repair joysticks. When you're a rehab technician, the ATP gets new equipment. Like Chris is in a wheelchair. If he was going through another ATP, they would have me deliver the chair, set him up, and do all that stuff. So that's the difference between being a rehab a service technician to a rehab technician. He also says, what are some of the difference in the field from what you first started in the industry up to today? Very great question. When I first started, all power chairs were belt driven. They had belts all the way across them. Every tire, you could not get the 10-inch tire. Chris right now currently has got a mid-wheel drive. That wasn't even thought of back then. And the smallest tire you could get was 20 inches. So it was a belt driven, 20 inches. And then back then, all you could do was get lead acid batteries. You could not get gel batteries. You had to, as a service technician, we'd have to go out there and fill these batteries up because the industry wouldn't pay for the gel because it was pretty expensive. He says, what are some of the challenges you faced when you first came in, and the experience of today? The challenges is the insurance now, as everybody knows. Medicare and everything is all changed, so it's a little bit harder for like people with a disability to get through and get stuff that they really need because the word they got to use is that medically necessary for them to get this piece of equipment. So that's the hardest part about what's going on right now. The next question he has: who do you consider to be a mentor in the durable medical equipment and an assistive technology professional? I never had anybody train me as being an ATP, so I don't have any mentor there. But I do have a great service manager that taught me when I first come in, and his name was Jody Powers. And I give a lot of my credit for who I am for repair and moving through my career is for Jody. He was a service technician manager for Reliable Medical. What is the most important part of your job in your opinion? Oh, wow, that's a good one. My most important, I think, is to listen to the client and to take care of the client and his best needs, or he or she's needs, and to be able to listen. You have to listen. If you don't listen, then you're not going to listen to what their needs are. Then you're going to run into some problems. Can you give some examples of some type of equipment you worked on when you first started in the field, or So we kind of got told about that, where the batteries were lead acid batteries compared to now they're gel. The tires are now foam filled, and you don't have to worry about belts anymore. He asked the question. Um, this field, I sure, has many challenges you have to overcome on an everyday basis, but what inspires you to wake up every morning to go to work? That is one of the major questions that I have always asked myself. I told my wife, I've been in this industry for 27 years, and I look at it this way. If I had to wake up and say, gosh, I got to go see Chris again, and my head was just, oh, why did I got? Then it's time to leave. I can't. I woke up every day, and I never have to say. We have bad days, but you got to take care of the clients, and if you don't take care of the clients and you don't have the heart, then you need to get out of the business. That's the bottom line. What is the most rewarding part of your job to you, and why? Well, that's what I just say, is the clients. Just to have somebody, like the other day, I'll give you an example. I was dealing with a guy, 43 years old, CP, never has a power chair, never ever has had a power chair. He's had surgeries, and he was just, he wanted to keep it in his life. Well, now he realized, and he wanted a scooter. And I told him, I said, hey, will you do me a favor? A scooter's good, but let me try a power chair. And he was opposed to the power chair, and his mother. And I said, just please give me a chance. And he gave me a chance, and I went out and I brought the scooter out, and he looked at it, and then let's try the power chair. We went to the power chair, and the guy's never been in a power chair, and his mom said he's never seen the laughter coming in, because he realized how much now more independent he is going to be because he gets a power chair. And he was going up and down the street. He works. He's going to love taking his chair to it when he works. He was just very happy for somebody, and that's the rewards for me, is when I see somebody like that and I know that I can take care of them. Let's see what else. Here's a good one. Chris would say that this is really a good one. This is when I talk to my wife. What do you miss about a wheelchair repair technician and enjoy about being in assistive technology? I miss repair. I miss repair and being a part of rehab. Now, the good part about it and being a rehab technician, my job now, I'm in rural America, and I get to kind of do all three. So I'm back to that. But I love being an assistive technology professional, because I get equipment and watch people, and come out and train them how to do their pieces of equipment. But also, I don't mind taking off batteries or taking off tires, or having a problem that somebody can't solve, and then I can solve it. So I like the repair part of it. He asked, what are some of the most proudest moments of your job? Is seeing, like that one guy, seeing that guy smile, seeing that laughter, seeing his life is going to change. That makes it worth it for me. He asked, when you retire from the field, which I hope isn't the thing, what do you want your legacy to be? That's a good question. I want basically this, and Chris knows it, and a lot of my clients know this, is that, he did it with his heart. And that's probably the biggest thing. I don't look at people as money. I look at people as people, and how did I make their life a little bit better. So retiring will be the hardest part, is because I'm going to miss a lot of that piece of it. So, and Chris is right. Hopefully it's not for a while. I hope that myself. So I'm smiling at him right now.
Through the mask.
Through the mask, yeah. If you could change 3 or 4 or 5 things about your job, what would they be? Oh, one thing is how easy. The number one thing that I've been fighting that I'd love is elevation on a power chair. If I could change it, everybody should have elevation. When you get a power chair, you automatically qualify for elevation. Love it. It's one of the hardest things funded. Insurance, I wish I could change insurances. I wish I could just say, hey, these people, I wish I could tell people, give them a week in these chairs, and then they'd understand why it's important for for people with disabilities to need their equipment. So that's probably the 3 things, or a couple of things that I would change, is basically have them, insurance-wise, understand and see if we could get everybody with elevation. Is there any schooling on your on-job training required for your position as an assistive technology professional? Yes, you have to have CEUs for the next 2 years, and then you have to take a course and pass. I believe it's 80%. You get 200 questions, and you have to pass it. If you don't pass it, you can take it again, but it's 200, and it's a lengthy test, and it's kind of hard. But in order to be an ATP, you have to pass that test. Um, he says, if somebody who is young coming in the workforce wants to come in this field, like, what advice would you give them, and where would they start? Great question. Advice I would give them is, if you do not have the heart, then you shouldn't even come in the business. So that's the biggest advice right now. If you don't have heart and compassion, don't even try to come in the business. And where should they start? I would start in a company, and I highly recommend anybody, no matter if they want to be an ATP or not, start in the service department. Understand basic points about the chair and components and stuff like that, and then move your way up in the career. So that's what I would do. Here's a question, and because I've known Chris for a long time, I got a couple of people, and a lot of them used to ask me, if you were to start your own business, he says, if you were able to start your own business, repair business when you're young, would you do so? Boy, man, looking back, I might. I'll just say I might, because I could have probably did a little bit different. A lot of people were pushing me to do it. I could have done it at one time. I don't want to do it anymore, and there's a lot of challenges now, but you would have had to start it back then in order. Hard right now to start a business in rehab. It's just hard to do it because of the insurance. He asked me, what do you think, what are some of the differences between AdaptHealth and the companies I've worked for? Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that is a really good one. I think there's really not a lot of differences. The biggest thing is it's all take care of the client, and that's all I really, care. The thing is what has moved with Adapt has moved into the world of different things. Is the territories have gotten bigger. So what you could have done with a couple of technician trucks, you do with one technician truck. What you did with one area with one ATP, now that ATP is out a little bit farther. So, Adapt is adapted to that part of it, and that's what it is. But I'm pretty sure all of them do that now, and it's a little bit harder for everybody. Everybody's wearing more hats now than they ever had. What he says, what are some of the lessons that you've learned over the years that you hope to pass on to your next generation DMA workers and assistant technology professionals? Lessons I've learned. There's one, and you probably already heard it to me right now, is listen. That's the biggest thing I can always say to anybody. Listen. Listen to your clients. Listen to their needs. And remember, everybody's a person. And remember, it comes from the heart. If you cannot consciously come and go in this business and take it from the heart from a client, then you don't need to be in this business. That's how I look at it. And like I said, I am not perfect. I've made mistakes in my life and made mistakes in my career. But the bottom line is I think if you talk to most people about me, that I think makes me stand out a little bit different is I have a lot of compassion, and I take it from the heart. And I always tell people I probably take on more than what I can chew, and it gets me in trouble a lot of times. I was going to say some of the times, but I'm not going to say a lot of the times. But I always, like right now with Chris, I talked to him yesterday, and a lot of times I have a lot of other things going on that I couldn't have came over, so I made a conscious effort to say I got to be here with Chris today, because I told him I'd be here with Chris today. So I'm trying to better myself on that. So that's where, if I missed any questions, Chris, if you want to ask me, I mean, these are the ones you sent to me. I thought they were fantastic.
Could you explain about how, because yesterday you were telling me, obviously I'm getting a new manual wheelchair, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going with Tim's apprentice, Paul. Paul's a very nice guy, but could you explain to me the difference between how when somebody comes into a to get a wheelchair or a piece of durable medical equipment, how when they first come in, they have to go with that person in the in their particular region, but I can work with you if I choose to. Can you explain that? Or?
Well, the thing is with Adapt through our managers through Adapt right now, she's already said they have no, all the ATPs have no territories. It used to be that somebody working in the Cambridge area, all the stuff came into Cambridge. I work in the Mankato and Lower, so a lot of stuff came to me. She kind of opened it up so that there's not really anybody that's, say, the biggest thing is if you go into doing the eval, if you request an ATP, that will be granted. That is probably the biggest part of it. He mentioned about Paul. Paul was under my wings. I mentored him for probably 5 years. A great kid, a great guy, and he's qualified to do. There's no doubts about it. I have a lot of years with you, and a lot of other people around here that if they wanted to use me or somebody else, you can request that. Otherwise, it goes into the territory of the person that is the ATP, and that would be like Paul is Cambridge, and that would be here in Coon Rapids, but that could come from the cities too. It could be Westgate. If you wanted to work from somebody from Westgate, you could request that, and that's what they would do. So there's no, according to our managers, there's no territories, but they try to, if it's in this territory and they know the person's up there and you haven't requested anybody, then they're going to go with the person that is in, that kind of takes part of that territory, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
You can request anybody you want, so let's look at it that way.
Okay. Do you have any thing else that you would like to add?
Yeah, so you worked on your questions, and I got a stump on you right now.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I just, like I said to you, the thing is, I did this for Chris because he wanted me to, we've known each other for a long time, and I've been in this business for a long time, and I've done every job. And I just think he wants, I was noticing yesterday, and I could say he sent me a video, and the guy that was doing the repair, and I think he put it on YouTube about repairing his chair. And Greg, I know very well as a technician. That's the kind of thing. And that person now, just to give you an example, we're going back to that, Chris, is Greg comes out of Westgate, and Paul, there's technicians up there, could have came out of Cambridge. You see what I'm saying? It's just who was needed, who could take care of you, and that came better from Westgate to take care of him, to take care of you when you're tired.
Okay, I remember the question now. What makes the determination where a technician comes from?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Right now they're drawing, not battle lines. I was just going to say that our manager has got together, and they're starting now to put little places. And the way I understand it, and I'm not a technician, but it's a 60-mile radius. So like if people Westgate to come up here, which is Westgate St. Paul, is 60 miles, but then all of a sudden you could have Cambridge. Now I'm in Mankato, and my techs are in Mankato. They probably are not going to travel up here, because then that's like 90 miles. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the ratio. The thing of around 60 miles is we want to let them know. The biggest thing is like with Adapt is trying to do in our management, they're just trying to take care of you, the client. What's the quickest way to get Chris? He's broke down. What's the quickest way? Okay, let me just make it clear. It could be there's no really somebody in Westgate could be da. Somebody over here could be in Cambridge, could be, and there could be somebody like down in me in Buffalo, and they say, well, Tim, or can your tech get out there to take care of you? They're trying to make it so that they can. You're not broke down for a length of time, if that's me. So they're trying to get to you as fast as they can, whether it's a territorial problem or not. But it's usually a 60-mile radius is what they look at.
Okay. Did Alina have territories?
They were just turning the territories. They didn't, but they were just starting to go into, they were territory, and then also, oh wait, let me back up. They did have territories. Lina did have territories, and then all of a sudden that kind of started to fade away, so that we tried to bring everybody as a team together, more or less now.
Were you kind of the leader behind getting rid of the territories?
I won't say the leader. I say, here's the thing: just take care of the client.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. What's the quickest way to get you taken care of, Chris? I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I don't want you sitting for 2 days or 3 days when somebody could come out here from Westgate and take care of you.
Yeah.
So.
I have something on my kitchen table in a plastic baggie that I want to show you.
Okay.
It's my blown out tire, and you might be able to explain how a tire gets blown out like that.
Yeah, I saw Greg I'll go run and get it. I saw Greg explaining it to you the best it can. And the thing is yeah. And what basically happens here, like on this tire or something, these tires start to wear because they're solid tires. This is just a wear tire, and if you can see, this bead just kind of breaks away from this guy here. So on the I don't know what this, I can't remember the thing.
Rim.
Yes, thank you, sir. This rim, it just comes off the tire, and you can see here, it's kind of grabbed in there, and then a lot of times,
Tim, hold it up a little bit.
this rim, and then this, and it just beads off. And once it beads off, you can't get this back on.
Okay.
In the old days, or whatever, this would be a tube. This would be a tube inside here, and then you put this tube on. Then you could do that. I mean, if this was a pneumatic tire, all you'd have to do is change the tube, and then put this back on. This case, this rim literally pulls off this tire. You usually got, if you can use this is fine. If you can't, you should get the whole thing. So.
Okay.
And it happens. This is a pretty common thing that'll happen.
According to Greg, a 15-year veteran of the wheelchair repair industry, it's not a very common problem.
It's not a common problem, yeah. But it will happen.
Yes.
It will happen.
Now, that tire was replaced by Paul only a few months prior to the blowout. Why do you think a tire only lasts maybe 5 or 6 months, whereas you might be able to go a full 2 years without?
Shouldn't. Manufacturer defect, something. Did they, when they came out here the last time, did they change the whole rim and tire?
Which side is it? They're looking at getting me I'll back up so Tim can see this. And ladies and gentlemen, you've already seen this caster. So do you want to turn the camera maybe, Tim? And
to what?
Oh, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll just want to see what they're, so, I gotcha. So
this is a loaner.
Gotcha.
Caster.
Sure.
So they're trying to get me a different caster.
And what they'll probably do with that, they'll probably get you the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, there's the key. It comes to a time when sometimes this doesn't hold this wheel on anymore.
The rim?
The rim, yeah. It just, no matter what, you put another tire on in 2 months it comes off again because there could be something on the rim.
Is there a defective rim? Is there a defection in the rim, or?
It could be a combination of both.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the smartest thing would do, if it's happened within, like you said, Paul changed it a while back, I would definitely look into saying, hey, let's get a complete one and not even bother trying to put that back on.
Okay.
So.
Do you generally have blowouts with the big tires, the drive wheels here?
No.
Okay.
They're pretty solid. They're pretty. I don't think I've ever, maybe, oh gosh, I can't even remember ever doing something about that. Now, if it's a pneumatic tire, yeah.
Okay, what's the difference between a gel tire and a pneumatic one?
Gel has a solid insert in there that you could run over glass and you can run over tacks, and it wouldn't go flat. A pneumatic tire has a tube in there so that if you ran over a tack, you ran over glass, it would go pop. It would pop and you'd lose air.
And I used to have wheelchairs with pneumatic
That
tires.
is correct.
As you know, Tim.
Yes.
You're the first person to bring me around to gel.
That is correct.
Okay.
Because what can happen is you could be driving down the road and you have hit something, and what happens, Chris? You go flat, and guess what happens to your chair? You're down.
It sinks down.
Yeah, it sinks down. So
and not only with a pneumatic tire, but you have also, with the pneumatic tires, there's a loud pop.
Correct.
Because there's air.
Correct.
In a tube.
Correct.
And when the tube pops, the air comes out and it's really loud.
That is
and
correct.
I have a startle reflex.
That is correct.
Believe me, when you're driving when you're driving down the road,
yeah,
and you have a pop,
I could see what would happen to you. Your positioning must be going crazy at about that time.
Yeah.
I'm smiling because I've seen you do it before, so I'm smiling under this mask because I know it. But he's absolutely right. And a lot of times you have a lot of people that sometimes, old school. I got a client that's old school that all he will use is pneumatic tires. He will not use solids. It is what it is, and it is what it is. And I try to talk him into it to get the gel, but it doesn't matter. So,
yeah. So, what would you say are the keys to having a good vendor-seller partnership? Because I kind of look at what you used to do as like you come out and you do kind of the, no offense, dirty work and grunt work, and now you're kind of the salesman. So if somebody wants to be a salesman and they're kind of right out of, tech and stuff like that, what is a good way to build relationships with your vendors and their representatives, and then you?
Well, and like I say and I've said this to my wife, and she says that it is, and I know no offense to what you just said. That's the one thing that I don't like about being an ATP, because I'm a salesman. And, you're being a salesman for somebody that has a disability, so, you really do, as long as you have a good ATP and a good technician and people that will take care of your needs. Nobody's perfect, I'm not perfect, and no company's perfect, but as long as they take care of your needs, you should. Now, if you run into problems, you're not a very vocal person, and I think when you run into problems, you have to be more vocal to something that is, if you're getting treated wrong, you're getting, things are not getting, then you have to let people know in your circle, whether it's your vendor, whether it's your tech, whether it's your ATP, whether it's somebody, or make a vocal to somebody in that company to let them know this is a concern. And then with that part being said, if they don't take care of your quote, quote, needs, and they won't listen to you, then it's time to reevaluate. That's all I can say. It's just time to reevaluate. There's so many vendors out there now. Everybody there's so many, and they're good. I mean, there's good people out there, and there's different people out there. You just gotta hope that you hit the right one, and if you got the right one, you keep them. That's why you and I have always been the thing, because we've had trust. And for the most part, I try to take care of you, maybe not in a timely manner because I had a lot of other things going on. I was in a different thing, but for the most part, I tried to make sure somebody was taking care of you. And if they weren't taking care of you, I would take a call. You'd give me a call. Well, I should hope that you would know that I'd make a call and say, hey, no, that's the relationship you have with your clients. And if you don't have that relationship with your clients, maybe you should start looking at trying to get them relationships, if that makes any sense.
Or if you don't feel like developing that relationship is important, maybe you're in the wrong career field.
That is correct.
You know.
That's 100%. That's what I'm saying. That's once it goes back to the key, then get the heck out of this field. You know, and this field isn't for everybody. Like being going to college for me for being to being a computer tech. 6 years of doing that, I realized I got a college degree, but it doesn't really, now I'm in computers, and I wanted to do something different with my life, and that's helping people was what I needed to do, and that's why I did it. So
yeah. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add, Mr. Tim?
No, I just wanted to say I thank you for letting me come stop in, and I wanted to just say, it's good that we've talked, and then we'll be in touch, and we'll go from there. And anytime you need me, just let me know.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
I've asked everybody this, that I've done interviews with your company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You were with Alina, but now you're with Adapt. How are you adapting to adapt?
That's supposed to be a pun?
Yeah.
I can tell that. You're trying to be funny.
Trying to be funny.
Yeah.
How are you adapting? Are you doing well? Do you like what the Adapt does?
Yes. I like what Adapt does. Alina was different. Alina's big. But Alina's a hospital base. It's hospital based. They got all kinds of... And Adapt is basically just DME rehab.
Okay, what kind of different equipment does Adapt sell?
Well, they do CPAPs to oxygen to rehab. That's what they do to shower chairs, commode chairs, to crutches. All the basic DME stuff comes through that.
Hospital bed?
Hospital beds, yes. Hospital mattresses. Anything called DME is basically what they do. And now they added a new component, which is rehab. So
cool.
We're okay.
Really awesome. Yeah. Well, this has been another presentation of the Cruiser Chris World Network. We would like to thank Tim for taking some time out of his busy schedule to come and visit us here at the Cruiser Chris World Network and kind of give you a bit of an education on the history of wheelchair repair since he started up until today. If you like what you've seen, this will be part of a playlist, several of them, on the YouTube channel. But if you've liked what you've seen, please consider liking, subscribing, and if you think this video would be beneficial for you to share for people who might be looking for a person to help them with a good heart, share it out over your social media. Tim, I would encourage you to share this with the people of AdaptHealth so that they might know avenues to where you can get more people, get more of the word out quicker to different people over their social media. So we will get this shared out, and we're coming for you, for those people that need help. So we're coming. Just be patient. We're coming. So
thank you, Chris.
This has been a presentation of the Cruiser Chris World Network. Like, subscribe, and share to help spread the word and make people aware. So have a good day, everybody.
Thank you very much.